Carly Fiorina, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing very well. I watched your speech. I watched Senator Cruz's speech. Let me ask you this. The listeners out there, there's this constant attack, that Ted Cruz ought to give it up. That Ted Cruz ought to give it up because there's no mathematical way to the convention, even though Trump doesn't have 1237. What is your response to that?
Well, the media's wanted everybody to lie down and give this up for months now. They just kind of want it to be the Trump-Clinton show. And maybe that's because Trump and Clinton are, two peas in the same pod, two sides of the same coin, and Clinton's going to beat Trump. But it isn't over until the voters say it's over, and it's certainly not over until somebody gets to 1,237 delegates. And Trump isn't there yet, and he's not going to get there.
Well, here's the odd thing. I mean, I'm watching TV a little bit, and I'm trying not to. But I'm watching a little bit of TV, and they go on, this is an unorthodox move. This is unconventional. This is desperation. And I'm thinking, are they talking about Bobby Knight with Trump? Or are they talking about you and Cruz?
Yeah. Well, hey, look, let's face it. Everything about this election has been unprecedented. Everything about this election has been unorthodox. Ted Cruz and I want the American people, the people who haven't yet voted in particular, to understand what's at stake and to understand the choice they have in front of them. What's at stake are our jobs, our prosperity, our opportunity, our potential. What's at stake are our liberties. What's at stake is our security. And the choice is Ted Cruz and Carly Fiorina, or Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, because Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are two sides of the same coin.
Now, what do you say to people who say, look, I want an outsider, I want somebody who's not establishment? Let me ask it this way. Have you ever made campaign donations to Harry Reid?
No. Or Hillary Clinton. Democrat after Democrat, and I've never gone off and bought local politicians so that I could use eminent domain to take some poor widow's house away from her. I haven't played the system. Yes, I was the chief executive of the largest technology company in the world, and the technology industry actually is the least regulated, most competitive, most free market industry we have left in this country, where you have to compete to win.
Now, why do you think the media, the liberal media and some of the Trump media, why do you think they're so desperate with this presumptive nominee stuff? They want Ted to get out. I understand the liberal media. The liberal media wants Trump to be the nominee because his negatives are through the roof. What about the Trump media? What do you think they're up to?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. You could drive yourself crazy thinking that, wow, maybe they're not so interested in journalism. Maybe they're actually interested in ratings. And they don't feel any responsibility to present this election fairly. But, you can drive yourself crazy with that. Look, there is somebody in this race who ought to get out. His name is John Kasich. Ted Cruz can and will win this nomination. Donald Trump, as I said, the very week he announced his candidacy in June of 2015, Donald Trump does not represent me, and he does not represent my party, and the majority of Republicans agree with me. And so that's why Ted Cruz and I are going to go fight this fight for the soul of our party and for the future of our nation.
Now, when did Ted Cruz, if you can tell me, when did Ted Cruz start talking to you about the potential of being a running mate for him should he get the nomination?
Well, so he and I have been together pretty intensely for the last 7 weeks. And before he ever had a conversation with me, of course, his team was engaged in vetting, as they should be doing. They vetted me, they vetted others. And then about a week ago, Ted let me know that, this was becoming more serious. And we had a series of conversations. And then yesterday, he made a formal ask so that we could announce today. And I was both humbled and honored to accept.
So the initial aspects of this started some weeks ago.
Oh, yes.
Well before what happened Tuesday and so forth.
Of course. Look, taking a vice president is an extremely consequential decision. And anyone who knows Ted Cruz and anyone who knows his team understands that he would never approach a consequential decision of this kind in a slapdash manner. He would approach this decision in a serious and deliberative manner. And so he did. Now, you're going to be attacked because that's the nature of the way these things go. I just want to ask you one question because I've already heard this attack. And that is, HP hired foreign workers at times, right? Yes. Don't companies hire foreign workers from time to time? Yes. We, as many technology companies do, we hired some foreign workers. What I never did is what Donald Trump did. Well, that's what I was going to ask you about. Hire illegals and pay fines over it. What I never did was hire foreign workers instead of hiring American workers who wanted the jobs and who were qualified for the jobs. That I've never done. You're talking about Mar-a-Lago, where he hired hundreds of foreign workers. That's what you're talking about, right? That's right. Well, I just wanted to raise that because America First and American jobs. And let me ask you another question. By the way, just to be clear, Mark, the vast majority of people who come into the technology industry become citizens because they understand that this still is the most innovative entrepreneurial country on the face of the planet, and we lead in the technology industry. And we should want people to come here to build better lives and to become citizens. Well, we have stipulated that you never gave money to liberal Democrats. We've stipulated that, yes, HP would hire foreign workers from time to time, but not in the fashion that Trump did. Let me ask you this. Did you ever have any clothing manufactured of your own in China? No. I think it's Donald Trump's ties that are manufactured in China, or Ivanka Trump's clothing line, or... No, I've never done any of that. In fact, we had printing manufacturing in the United States. We had computer manufacturing in the United States. And we added jobs in the United States. I'm asking you these questions because I can already hear the attacks coming. So I just want to clarify this because people seem to be repositioning themselves when it comes to a lot of these issues. That's one way to call it. Well, what would you call it? Well, look, let's be clear. Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton have a loose relationship with the truth and facts. In this way, they also are two sides of the same coin. They change their minds whenever they have to fit their purposes and to fulfill their ambition. They don't mind being inconsistent. They're not tethered to the facts. That is true of both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Did Donald Trump ever apologize to you, like, out of the public view for attacking you personally, your looks and so forth? What do you think the answer to that is, Mark? No, of course not. This is not a man who apologizes, and that's okay. I don't really care what he thinks about my face, but no. By the way, I've seen you in person. You have a very pretty face, I have to say. So, but I just wanted to point that out. I've seen him in person, too. He has a very pretty face, too, I might add. Well, look, I think, Mark, let me just say, honestly, this is clearly a guy who has a problem with women. I'm sorry. When there is a terrorist attack in Brussels and Donald Trump chooses immediately to pivot to attacking Heidi Cruz, what does that tell you? What do you think are the top three issues for you and Ted Cruz going forward here? Our jobs. We need more of them. We need more opportunity, more prosperity. We need every American, regardless of their circumstances, to have the opportunity to fulfill their potential. Our liberties are at stake. Our right to bear arms, our right to practice our religion freely. The Supreme Court is most certainly at stake. And our security is at stake. If we cannot lead in the world, if we cannot achieve peace through strength, if we cannot defeat our enemies, starting with ISIS, our security is at stake. So it's jobs, and it's freedoms and liberty, and it's security. Those are big issues. These are big stakes. And so while the media might be chasing ratings, the American people need to understand that Ted Cruz and Carly Fiorina are going to stand up and continue to fight for the future of this nation. And that's a fight worth having.
Just one final part. What do you say to people who say, look, the person who has the most votes going into the convention should get the nomination?
Yeah, well, of course, it just doesn't work that way. Maybe those people don't understand we're a republic, not a democracy. Maybe those people don't understand that having delegates nominate a nominee is a long-standing practice. Maybe they don't understand how the Electoral College works. But here's something else maybe those people don't understand. The majority of Republicans don't want Donald Trump as their nominee. Yes, Donald Trump has won a lot of votes. Some of them are disaffected Democrats. Some of them are independents. I think it's Republicans' job to select our nominee. I think the only way we win in November is to present a crystal clear choice to Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump is the other side of Hillary Clinton. So, I'm here in the Hoosier state, so, a basketball analogy might be in order. I mean, Donald Trump whines about the rules, not when they're advantaging him, only when he isn't getting his way. In basketball, when the buzzer sounds, the game's over. You don't get a whine that you could have won if you'd only had another minute. So guess what? You need 1,237 delegates to win the nomination. Donald Trump does not have them. And Ted Cruz and Carly Fiorina are going to do everything in our power to make sure he doesn't get them. And instead, our party nominates Ted Cruz to be our next president of the United States.
He talks about the system being rigged. His supporters have picked up on that. And yet he wants to change the system that he's winning in. In other words, if a state, if he loses, if he doesn't like the outcome, that should change. A winner-take-all state, he likes that when he wins. 1237, it shouldn't really be 1237. It should be a plurality. Why does he want to change all the rules all the time?
Well, because that's the story of his life, Mark. That's the story of his life. That's how you game the system. That's how you game the system. So, yeah, in Florida, where he won less than 40% of the vote, of course he should take 100% of the delegates. That's okay. But it's not okay.
I think he got like 47%. That's my recollection. Florida, but he got less than less than a third in South Carolina. I know that, and got all the delegates.
That's right. That's right. So the point is, that's how you game the system. Is you say when it isn't working for you, let's just change it. Let's just change it. That's how he's made his billions. He's buying politicians off to change things. So he wins. But guess what? We do have a system, and it's worked pretty well. People think it's shocking to have a contested convention. It's just we haven't had one in a long time. But it's not shocking. We've had them before. We've had some pretty good outcomes out of contested conventions. So let's let the people of Indiana vote, and let's let the people of California vote, and let's let all the folks who haven't had a chance to vote yet vote. And then let's see where we are.
All right, Carly Fiorina, thanks for coming on the program. We wish you all the best. Be safe out there.
Thank you, Mark. All the best. Great to be with you.